They use. Okay. Here's something awesome. There he is, Coach Cignetti. Hoosiers got their victory parade before the weather fell apart down in Bloomington. They held a big celebration at Memorial Stadium over the weekend. Heisman winner and the likely future quarterback, there he is, of the Raiders, Fernando Mendoza, was supposed to go #1 in the draft. He was there to hoist the trophy, and miraculously, Natalie, apparently Coach Cignetti at some point smiled.
Which is a rare occurrence.
Yes. Yes, he doesn't, you know, I didn't even know he had teeth.
No emotion.
I didn't even know he had teeth till after that last game there. So, okay, congrats to my Hoosiers. Love you guys.
Good Day Chicago at 8 starts now.
All right, if you were planning to fly out today, going to be a headache. Sorry to report how bad the weather is all over the country and now is grounding flights.
Tensions are still rising in Minneapolis and all over the country because of the most recent ICE shooting. We'll tell you what people are saying.
If you want to see how dangerous it can be during an ice storm, you will get a look at what happened to one reporter. We'll show you more.
8 o'clock on the button, and we are going to give you a live look outside here. It is so cold. I know earlier this morning I was watching you and Gabby together in the 5 o'clock hour, and it just said 1. The temperature was 1.
Degree. Caitlin, I'm going to be Mr. Brightside, though, as I always try to be.
Okay.
At least it's sunny out there.
Hey, look at that. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
We do have sunshine. I do want to start off with our satellite radar, though, because we do have the clearing in Chicago, really next to the lake, but you can see our neighbors in northwest Indiana still with that light snow coming down in portions of Berrien County, LaPorte County. The snow luckily has started to move out of Porter County, but it is going to be cloudy for some, sunny for others to start off our day. Our 24-hour temperature change, we actually are colder than we were yesterday. Yesterday's high was 14. Right now, we're 6 degrees colder than our temperature was at this time yesterday. 9 degrees colder at O'Hare and Midway. And even later on today, we're going to be a couple degrees cooler than that 14-degree mark. But right now, you're stepping out the door to 1 single degree at the lakefront, 0 at O'Hare, 5 degrees below 0 from Aurora to DeKalb. We'll take a look at that afternoon high, also when the chance for snow returns ahead.
All right, Caitlin, we will check back in. Thank you. All right, trying to fly out for the next few days will likely test your patience.
The winter storm is affecting airports all over the country. Roseanne is live at O'Hare, where cancellations are stacking up. Hi, Roseanne.
Yes, they certainly are, and the lines are growing longer by the minute. I'm wearing my coat because we're near a door, and it's been open this whole time with people coming in. And so it's really bringing the cold air with it. But, you know, after this weekend, there's a lot of catching up to do and more cancellations. Fly Chicago reports 201 total cancellations here at O'Hare right now. Midway reports 29. The massive winter storm led to 10,000 flights canceled yesterday. Snow, sleet, and ice grounding planes across the country. These snowy scenes are at O'Hare. But the flight-aware misery map shows major issues in places like New York, Washington, D.C., and Dallas-Fort Worth. They were all greatly impacted and still feeling it today. FlightAware shows more than 3,700 cancellations within, into, or out of the U.S. across the country. That's up 100 from just 5 a.m. There are 976 delays, and that, too, is a number that's rising. Now, United has canceled about 280 flights, 39 here at O'Hare. One woman we spoke to started her odyssey in Nairobi, then Frankfurt, and now here.
Upon arrival here, my connection flight was canceled, and we spent tons of hours just trying to reconnect, and we had to spend the night here, and we're still trying to connect to Buffalo, New York. So, yes, so the storm has really thrown us off. I just got my ticket to D.C. and then Dallas, and then from there to Buffalo, New York.
Well, best of luck to you. How are you keeping your good spirits and your smile during all of this?
It's Mother Nature, not the airline's problems.
And that's a really great point to be made. We've covered other stories at O'Hare, government shutdowns and whatnot, and people get downright angry. We haven't seen too much of that today. Frustrated? Yes. No one wants delays. And that woman is headed to 2 of the trouble spots, D.C. and New York. So we hope she gets there safely. We'll keep you updated on the situation here. Talk to you soon. Back to you in the studio.
She's got a great attitude. Roseanne, thank you for that update from the terminal there. Okay, switching gears. A lot of emotions and strong reactions to the shooting over the weekend by federal agents in Minneapolis.
Gabriella is here now with more on that story.
Natalie, Anthony, you're about to see a video or a look at thousands of people rallying downtown here in Chicago over federal agents shooting Alex Preddy in Minneapolis on Saturday. Mayor Brandon Johnson joined them in person. Both he and Governor J.B. Pritzker called for the termination of ICE. The White House says ICE acted in self-defense, though video appears to show agents had disarmed Preddy before he was shot. Former President Obama also released a statement. He says, in part, he hopes the administration will reconsider its approach and start finding ways to work constructively with the governor of Minnesota. He says all Americans should draw inspiration from peaceful protests. A federal court in Minnesota will hold 2 hearings today on ICE operations. The suits were filed by the state attorney general and the mayors of St. Paul and Minneapolis. The state wants a restraining order against ICE. It was actually filed after Renee Good was killed. In the other suit, local officials are trying to protect evidence in the Preddy shooting. The Department of Homeland Security says the lawsuits are frivolous and agents were acting in self-defense. The immigration crackdown in Minnesota was launched earlier this month. Trump administration officials say it is tied to $250 million fraud investigation involving the Somali community. Natalie.
Gabby, there will be a vigil for Alex Preddy in Arlington Heights this evening at 5 o'clock. Preddy was born in Illinois. He graduated from high school in Green Bay in 2006. One of his former classmates, Christopher DeSalvi, says Preddy was involved in many school activities from athletics to theater.
Even if you weren't like super close with him, like you felt like you had a friend and you had a genuine person who wanted to know you. I've never had a bad interaction with him at all. I can't think of any.
Alex Preddy was working as an ER nurse at the time of the shooting. He was also protesting federal agents in Minneapolis. De Silva, the friend that we heard from there, says he and Preddy later enrolled at the University of Minnesota.
2 people are in the hospital this morning after an apartment fire broke out on the north side in the West Rogers Park neighborhood. Started on the first floor. We don't know the cause yet. Fire crews say that the sub-zero wind chills made it very tough to fight this fire. The condition of the victim is not clear as of yet.
And you know, driving has not been a picnic with all the snow around here this weekend. Illinois State Police responded to more than 300 crashes this weekend on the Dan Ryan. Traffic was at a standstill when a big rig jackknifed at 31st Street. And then there was a car into a wall on I-80 in Hammond, Indiana. There were crashes on the south side because of slick conditions.
All right, here's how dangerous this storm has been across the country. 9 people have actually died so far as a result. Hypothermia killed people in Louisiana, Texas, and Kansas. 3 people were killed in Tennessee, and a couple were killed in Massachusetts when they were hit by a snowplow. All across the South, especially with all the ice, people are being told to avoid getting out on the roads if possible.
And you're about to see why people are being told not to leave their homes. A reporter for Fox Nashville was trying to interview first responders and then had to run.
It likes it.
The reporter and the first responder heard the tree cracking and had just seconds to sprint away. They were just fine, but it shows what's been happening in the southeast. The ice has coated trees and power lines. In Nashville alone, there's 175,000 people without power, more than 200,000 across Middle Tennessee.
Such a tough situation there. 8:08, let's check in on our local situation with Caitlin. How are we going to do outside today?
Well, did you guys enjoy the snow, first of all? Pretty to look at?
Pretty to look at.
Out the window?
Yeah. Then the shoveling and the cold start. I like shoveling, as you know, but it was a little too cold to enjoy it fully.
I get it.
Yes.
I get it.
And the driving was horrible for so many hours.
Oh, did you drive around yesterday?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Well, this morning, you might want to check your local roads. I didn't have an issue on main roads, which is good. It wrapped up for most of us, that snowfall that is, yesterday evening. So lots of time for those trucks to get out there. But of course, back roads, side streets, neighborhoods, Still expecting snowfall on the ground. Temperatures right now, they are dangerously cold again. So another reminder, check in on those school times. If you haven't left the house yet, you may have some delays out there or school cancellations. Right now, it is 1 single degree at the lakefront, 0 at O'Hare and in Gary, 5 degrees below 0 from Aurora to DeKalb, 1 degree below 0 in Joliet. These are the actual temperatures, but it is going to feel even worse because we could see winds around 10 to even 20 miles per hour at times. Right now, those gusts are at 18 miles per hour in Waukegan, 13 miles per hour in Valpo, 21 at Michigan City. By the way, speaking of the snow, we still have some light snow coming down in portions of LaPorte and especially Berrien County, but Porter, you are drying out finally. Feel like temperature, though, 19 degrees below 0 in Valpo. Speaking of, 16 degrees below 0 from Joliet to O'Hare, 21 degrees below 0 in Aurora. It's going to be a cold day today, so let me show you. Let's time it out on our futurecast. First of all, it is going to be quiet as far as precipitation goes, but highs are only going to be hardly making their way above 10. As we work our way into this evening, 7 p.m., and temperatures are around 5 to 6 degrees. It's going to be cold all week. This winter weather continues, and we even have the chance for a touch of snow tonight. I'll show you that ahead. Back to you.
Thank you, Caitlin. We're going to be live in Minneapolis to show how people there are calling for calm today.
All right, your body might be angry if you use a certain type of cleaner. Coming up, we will tell you why one type of cleaner is being recalled. And we're going to have more weather coverage up next for this frigid week. Possible snow later in the week. Here's a quick look at your 7-day forecast. So as we head to break, we'll be right back.
What are you girls doing?
We're doing all the heating, plumbing, and electric around here.
All right, I know you girls know stuff, but let's leave it to our trusted local experts. Let's call Four Seasons.
It's about time you figured it out.
Whether it's heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, air duct cleaning, or generators, you can always trust Four Seasons.
For all the right reasons, call 866-4 Seasons.
Welcome back. It's 8:13 here in Chicago, but up in Minneapolis, dozens of businesses, they're making their voices heard in the wake of this latest deadly shooting involving federal immigration agents.
We're talking small businesses to huge companies located there. Fox Chicago's Say Kwan is live in Minneapolis with more. Hi, Say.
Hey, good morning to you. We are here at the memorial right now, and this is where Alex Preddy was shot and killed by a federal agent on Saturday. And I'll step out of the way because things have been very emotional this morning. We were here on Saturday night. We saw this memorial. This has grown twice in size. People are stopping by this morning despite the cold temperatures. Everyone is coming out here, dropping off flowers, lighting candles, and we're talking about a brand new week here, and the community doesn't stop showing their support and paying their respects. Obviously, this has taken a hit to local businesses in this area. In the neighborhood that we're in, locals call this Eat Street because it's home to many Twin Cities businesses and restaurants that are very well known here. Think Vietnamese food, Mexican food, just a really a prominent area, a very popular area. Now, Glamdal Donuts is just across the street from this memorial, and you think about that video that's playing and circulating all over social media right now. That first video came out of Glamdal Donuts. Just maybe some food for thought here, because I know our Chicago viewers are, trying to kind of get the lay of the land and figure out where exactly this is. We also know that 60 Minnesota CEOs from Minnesota-based companies, I should say, along with many professional sports teams in Minnesota, have now signed on to an open letter urging immediate de-escalation when it comes to these immigration operations. We know that this is, they're calling on these elected officials to take accountability and find a different solution because they are saying this is not working. This is exactly the language we've been hearing from our community members right here in Minneapolis. They want ICE out of our state. They have made that very clear at this point. Yeah, this is what we're seeing here right now. Of course, a very emotional day. The tone is definitely different from what we saw on Saturday when the shooting happened. I'll toss things back to you guys for now.
All right, Say, we continue to hear more about Alex Preddy here. What are folks saying about his life and perhaps what he was doing steps away from where you are right now?
Yeah, so Alex Preddy was 37 years old. He's an ICU nurse. He worked with veterans, and he was a member of this community. And by that, I mean he was literally a resident here. Very well known. He's an American citizen. We also know that he was legally allowed to carry a firearm. And I know that has been a big discussion right now, especially with these videos playing out and circulating. A lot of people are, of course, wondering the question, did he actually approach these law enforcement authorities with a gun? That has been pretty much the center of everything right now. And we know that there are federal hearings playing out in court today. Really, when it comes to the legality of these immigration operations, should they be allowed to do something like this? These aggressive tactics that are being used by ICE agents, that is really the focus. But when it comes to Alex Preddy, he was a very loved member of this community, and people have made that very clear. We saw fellow nurses coming on out here yesterday. He was very well known, and he was known to be a man who did good work for his community.
Say, there's been plenty of reaction. Obviously, we've heard a lot of it from Minnesota officials. What are we hearing from the Trump administration this morning?
Well, actually, recently, in just the last half hour, we know that the Trump administration is planning on sending his White House czar here tonight. And this is kind of interesting because, our officials here in Minnesota have made it very clear that they also want ICE out of the state. And now we also know that there's a federal ruling basically blocking the Trump administration and DHS officials from messing with any of the evidence here. We saw Minnesota BCA agents here on scene yesterday, but this now raises a whole new set of concerns from Minnesota residents, from our own community members, because obviously this is not, the Trump administration is not doing what the community here is asking for, which is to get ICE out of Minnesota. We know that the White House czar is supposed to be here. We don't know when. That has pretty much all we've been hearing, but we do also expect a response from these federal officials regarding that federal ruling with this investigation playing out. The question everyone is watching to see, of course, how this investigation plays out, and I think that's going to be a critical time for the Trump administration and these federal officials to respond to that federal ruling today.
Indeed, you're correct. We're going to be keeping an eye on it. Saquon in Minneapolis for us, our own Saquon. And for those viewers that are unfamiliar with Say, because she just joined the team here in Chicago, she spent 3 years on the ground, street reporting in Minneapolis, so she is very familiar with the entire community up there. We appreciate her being our eyes and ears on the ground. Now, the shooting in Minneapolis may play a role in whether the government will partially shut down once again.
Yeah, and we've got just, like a week or so? Doug Luzader has more on the Friday deadline.
Well, this massive winter storm effectively shut down big parts of the country. And here in Washington, the shutdown could go well beyond the weather. More major demonstrations in Minnesota after another protester, 37-year-old Alex Preddy, was shot and killed by federal agents. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz blamed the president.
You thought fear, violence, and chaos is what you wanted from us, and you clearly underestimated the people of this state and nation.
The administration says Preddy was armed.
You can hear someone yelling, gun, 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 and those agents and officers reacted to that.
And as the debate continues over whether Preddy was actually a threat, the possibility of a government shutdown this week just skyrocketed, with many Democrats saying they're going to block funding now for the Department of Homeland Security.
Before us right now, we have a bill about funding them, giving them more money. I'm not voting for that.
There's very little incentive for lawmakers to compromise and to fund the government when the funding ends at the end of the month. And it's so clear that this has inflamed the situation that we're going to be heading towards a shutdown.
Republicans, especially in the House, will argue that the funding measure just passed the House with bipartisan support last week.
Taking away funding, shutting down the government, not funding FEMA and TSA, as well as all of the immigration agencies, is exactly the wrong thing to do here.
And at a snowed-in Capitol, that is a clear standoff in the making. There is rough sledding ahead here. Now, the actual deadline to fund the government is on Friday night, but given the conditions around here, it could take days to get lawmakers back to town. In Washington, Doug Luzader, Fox News.
Our thanks to Doug for that update. It's 8:20 back here in Chicago, and there's been an arrest for an attack on a lawmaker at the Sundance Film Festival.
Gabriella is here with more.
Yeah, this is an interesting story, guys. Congressman Maxwell Frost was punched in the face on Friday night. He says the man who hit him also told him the president would deport him. Utah police say a 28-year-old man crashed the party Frost was attending. They say the suspect faces several charges, including assaulting an elected official. Frost says he's fine. The Sundance Film Festival says the attack goes against its welcoming atmosphere. You'll want to hold off cleaning with this Angry Orange enzyme stain remover. It's on the recall list. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says it might be contaminated with bacteria that's bad for people with lung problems or weakened immune systems. The bottles were sold at Amazon, Walmart, Target, and TJ Maxx. The Patriots being bad, well, that didn't really last long. They will play the Seahawks in Super Bowl 60 in 2 weeks. New England beat the Broncos in a blizzard in Denver, and Seattle beat the Rams at home. It's the 4th Super Bowl for the Seahawks. It will be the 12th Super Bowl for the Patriots. Natalie and Anthony.
Okay, thank you very much, Gabby. Appreciate it. And there is a snowy but sunny view of Chicago's front yard here at 8:21 on our Monday morning. Caitlin, it is cold outside.
It's cold. She's pretty, though.
She is pretty.
She's pretty. We got some blue sky. We have sunshine today. It is going to be a beautiful day, but very cold temperatures remain. We also have the chance for some snow returning as soon as tonight. So let's get into our forecast, where first I want to discuss how we have a cold weather advisory in place for all of us in Chicagoland. That's going to last until noon because wind chills are dropping down to 15 or 20 degrees below zero. So the feel-like temperature still dangerously cold for everyone in Chicagoland. Now, even though we have the blue sky, the sunshine, you still have to dress warm like you did over the weekend. Temperatures right now below zero for some. These are the actual temperatures. 2 at the lakefront, 0 from Gary to Chicago Heights and O'Hare, 5 degrees below zero in Aurora, 4 degrees below zero from Woodstock to DeKalb. So western areas, you are below zero down to LaSalle and Grundy County too. So for today, highs are going to be right around 11. So pushing to hardly out of the single digits. Winds are going to be out of the west-northwest up to 20 miles per hour at times, which, by the way, we still have those gusty conditions even early today. Tonight, temperatures are not going to be dropping. In fact, we are going to be climbing into early tomorrow with the southerly breeze coming in up to 30 miles per hour. But we are going to have more cloud cover on the way. We also have the chance for some flurry activity. So light snow is not out of the question tonight. Let's take a look at the timeline here. Futurecast, as mentioned, our neighbors in Michigan. I'm talking about Berrien County. Portions of LaPorte could see a little bit of flurry activity this morning, still with the snow, but it's moving out of here. And by this afternoon, 3:30, it's going to be relatively quiet. We have cold temperatures and gusty winds, but sunshine will be here. And then tonight, increased cloud cover. This is 2 a.m. Starting to see some snow around. You may see some flurries. And then tomorrow, temperatures will be back to the mid and upper teens. This whole week is going to be cold. I'll show you your full 70 forecast ahead.
Thank you, Caitlin. Today on Chicago Now with Caitlin, we're going to be going to hear all about the big live event trends of 2026 and what you'll perhaps want to attend. And it's a series you can't turn away from. Members only, Palm Beach. We're getting the lowdown from behind the scenes. And can technology really help kids? We've been hearing so many negative things about social media and the like. We are going to speak with an expert about that question. We'll be right back after this.
Changes to SNAP benefits begin in May. It's going to be harder for individuals without dependents to get food assistance. However, applicants only have until this Sunday to file for an exemption to the new rules. Man Yi with the Greater Chicago Food Depository joins us now. Thank you so much for being here. There are new nuances with these rules, so explain how they're different from what we were used to before.
Yeah, so there are two main dates that we really need people to understand. So first, the date that's coming up is February the 1st. In a few days' time, anyone between the ages of 18 and 64 who do not have a dependent under the age of 14 must now work or volunteer or be studying a minimum of 80 hours a month in order to keep their benefits. Or they need to be able to prove that they qualify for an exemption. Now, what we mean by an exemption is, for example, anyone who has a child under the age of 14 or anyone who's pregnant or anyone who has a disability that prevents them from working. So SNAP participants who cannot prove either of those two things, that they are exempt or that they are unable to meet the work requirements, will only be allowed to get 3 months of benefits over 3 years. And so that's why it becomes really important for them to notify IDHS, the Illinois Department of Human Services, if they are exempt. Otherwise, IDHS will start counting February as one of the first of your 4 months of allowed benefits. So it becomes really important for you to let them know.
How do you apply for an exemption? Is this something you have to do online? Can you call a number? Can you go to an office?
Yes, we've made it really, really simple. We've been working with IDHS to make it really simple for people. So you can go to saveoursnap.org. That's saveoursnap.org. On there is a screener where you can just answer a couple of questions and it will let you know if you are exempt. If you are exempt, then it will provide you with an exemption form that you need to fill out and then send to IDHS. Even though you may be exempt right now, don't assume that IDHS has all of your most updated information. So it becomes really important to fill out that exemption form.
Now, if you don't qualify for the benefits anymore and you don't get an exemption, what are your options?
Then unfortunately, anyone between the ages of 18 and 64 are going to be subject to those work requirements of having to satisfy work or volunteer or be studying 80 hours a month in order to keep their benefits past May. So May the 1st is the second date that we are warning people on, that February becomes the first month that of those 3 months of allowed benefits, March, April, and then come May the 1st, if you are not able to satisfy those work requirements and you don't have an exemption, unfortunately, you're going to be kicked off the program.
How is the Greater Chicago Food Depository, MAN, preparing for this? Because I assume you're going to have some additional people you'll need to help out.
Yeah, we are bracing ourselves yet again for another hunger crisis. We saw during the pandemic, and we also saw actually during the recent government shutdown in November, what happens to our SNAP participants when they lose access to that important lifeline. And so we are bracing ourselves because we are expecting a lot of those people, around 200,000 SNAP participants in Illinois, we believe are at risk of losing benefits. They're going to start showing up at our pantries, and we're working as hard as we can to make sure we have enough food at our pantries.
All right, Man Yee with the Greater Chicago Food Depository. Let us know what we can do to help as well, because I know Fox 32 has been a good partner with you guys. So please let us know. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your support.
All right, let's send it over to Caitlin. She's got a check of the forecast. Dangerously cold out there.
It is. Temperatures feel like they could be around 15 to 25 degrees below zero right now when you step out the door. It's beautiful, but we do have the chance for a little bit of light snow tonight. And the temperatures, they're staying below freezing this week. It is going to be a cold stretch. A full check of your 7-day forecast is ahead. Stay with us.
The viewer in the morning really needs to have
man is being held in Joliet, accused of killing a woman and her 4-year-old child. Police found both victims yesterday in the backyard of a home on Garnsey Avenue. Another child, an 8-year-old boy, was in a bedroom and was not physically hurt. Police say the suspect shot himself in the ankle. They say the shooting is the result of a domestic dispute.
2 people are in the hospital this morning after an apartment fire broke out in Rogers Park. The fire began on the first floor, although we don't know the cause yet. Fire crews say the sub-zero wind chills made it tougher to fight the fire. The condition of the 2 hospitalized victims is not known.
The Score expected to pay tribute this week to Terry Boers. Sadly, he died Friday afternoon. He was a pioneer of Chicago sports radio, joining the Score in 1992. He was later paired with Dan McNeil. They became one of the biggest shows in the city. Boers retired from the Score in 2017. The Sun-Times says he died from liver failure at the age of 75.
Governor J.B. Pritzker suggested having Chicago host all future Democratic national conventions.
And the city might be trying to make that happen. Gabriella Primus is here with more.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, by all accounts, we know that the 2024 DNC here in Chicago was considered a big success. So the city is getting a head start and has made its interest known in hosting either the 2028 or 2032. That was first reported by the Sun-Times. Before the 2024 DNC, the last one that the city hosted was back in 1996. Boston, Las Vegas, Atlanta, and Denver are also candidates for 2028. 2 Chicago says the 2024 DNC led to Chicago making an extra $371 million. Now, just a reminder, especially in these cold temperatures, if you turn to a space heater to stay warm, you need to be very careful with them. The National Fire Protection Agency says there's more than 38,000 fires a year caused by heating equipment. And don't forget the carbon monoxide dangers of generators.
Space heaters need to be left away from other objects that it could set on fire. It should never be left unattended, and it should have an auto switch so that if it's accidentally pushed over and you aren't paying attention, it doesn't catch fire. When you're utilizing gas generators, making sure they're a distance away from the home and there's no windows or anything that might have gaps in them that can allow that off-gassing of carbon monoxide to enter the home.
And of course, the fire department says you should never use a stove as a heater. Natalie Anthony.
Okay, Gabby, thank you very much. Millions of people are dealing with some kind of combination of extreme cold, ice, and snow today.
Misery loves company. There are hundreds of thousands who don't have power because ice has taken down power lines. Caroline Shively live in Washington, D.C. for us this morning with more. Good morning, Caroline.
Good morning to you, Natalie and Anthony. We're coming to you live from about 3 blocks in front of the U.S. Capitol building. 2 very different scenes whipping up this morning. Take a look at this sidewalk. This is thanks to one guy, one shovel, and a whole bunch of de-icer. He's made this sidewalk look like a sunny day in June. But if you walk with me, come over here. Here's the snowpack. We had about 7.5 inches of snow, followed by 3 inches of sleet. This is actually a bike path that I'm standing on right now. If you walk with me a little more, this is where the cars are parking. This is absolutely impassable, and here's the road. We're going to jump a little ways down here because there are no other cars. We have not seen a snowplow since we have been out here since 3 a.m., but we are seeing stuff like this. My photographer Mario is going to spin around. Check out that John Deere. That is the workers from the Hilton. They have been at it trying to clear a path there. And if you keep on going, you're going to see my producer's Ford truck right here. Listen to this. That ice is not going anywhere. He might have an hour of digging. So it's a rough scene here in the nation's capital. The sun is out, though. That'll help at least to melt during the day. But refreezing is our next problem. A low of 4 tonight. With the wind chill, it's going to feel like -5.
Caroline, this is remarkable that you're right downtown. I don't see any pedestrians there. No plows have touched it. How unusual is this? The amount of snow and just how hard it is there.
We're normally kind of embarrassed, to be honest, when we do a winter weather story with you guys because you're so good at it.
Yes.
And we're so terrible here. The federal government shuts down if there's just a little bit of ice and snow. But this isn't a snow emergency route, guys, but I don't know when the plows are going to come here. Just down the block there's a fire station. We have seen maybe a dozen cars go nose to nose with fire trucks and ambulances, but they haven't been able to pass. So they've had to back down an entire block to get out of there. Although that guy, check that car out, he's going pretty fast. So this is not good. That's exactly why they closed the federal government. They said just stay home today. We're not sure what will be happening tomorrow, but they're going to have to get a whole lot of work done if people are going to drive, if they're going to walk. It's a big old mess here in the nation's capital.
Well, you've been doing a fabulous job out there, Caroline. I don't know how you've done it for so many hours this morning, but thank you for your reporting.
All right, it has not been all doom with the big winter storm. People in Oklahoma City grabbed the sled, hit the streets. OKC got a record amount of snow this weekend. All right, listen to how much. 4.5 inches. That's record, I guess. That surprises me. However, that 4.5, I guess that's big for Oklahoma City.
Seeing the kids having so much fun, we drove all the way back to Blanchard, about 30 miles, just to get our sled and come back and enjoy the hill here.
Bundle up. Yeah, bundle up. Make sure you bundle up. Protect your face.
The previous record had been held since 1948. That record was just 4 inches.
Really?
I'm wondering if that's just like the day, you know, like January 25th, or, you know what I'm saying, for the single day record.
I was laughing so hard. One of my really good friends who lives just outside of Nashville in Tennessee, they got just a dusting of snow, and she showed all the kids who were sledding. How is that even possible? But they were so excited.
Oh, they just wanted to lean into that. Hey, it was too cool. I thought about taking the 4-year-old sledding yesterday. He did not. I offered a couple times. He said no. I think it was too cold for him.
I agree. You know, our neighbors went too, and I'm like, no, we're gonna get out there for 5 seconds. Take 3 hours to get these kids ready. Be out there for 5 seconds, and they're gonna say my hands are cold.
Right.
But those southern babies, they don't have the winter gear. So they're out there in their layers of sweatshirts. It's just so funny. And the jeans, going sledding in jeans. Do what you got to do. Today, we're starting off very cold. Let's take a look at our actual temperature, and then we'll look at the wind chill. Right now, it is 2 degrees at the lakefront, 0 at O'Hare, to Gary, 5 degrees below 0 in Aurora, 2 degrees below 0 from Morris to LaSalle, 4 degrees below 0 in DeKalb. So it's chilly, but it is beautiful. In the city, we've got blue sky, sunshine. But take a look at our wind chill. It feels like 15 degrees below 0 at the lakefront. This is why you might not want to play in the snow, because 25 degrees below 0 has a wind chill in DeKalb. No, thank you. 15 degrees below 0 in Merrillville. Ouch. Highs today are going to be pushing to about 10 or 11, but the wind chill stays below 0. Let's take you through our next 12 hours, where this afternoon at the peak, we feel like we could be around 6 degrees below 0. So it is going to be a brutally, dangerously cold day all day long. 70 forecast. Temperatures are going to be staying cold all week. Tomorrow's high right around 16. We have the chance for a few flurries around tonight. And then by Wednesday, 15 as our high. Same thing on Thursday. At the end of the week, we're watching for the potential of snow to return. But finally, this weekend, we're going to be above 20. 24 degrees expected Saturday, Sunday, right around 30. Now, if only we could climb to freezing, that would be nice. In the meantime, it is going to be a very cold but beautiful day. Back to you.
Thank you, Caitlin. On Good Day Chicago at 9, the benefit of having a mentor in the workplace, how you can become one and make a difference.
Fox 32 News is
All right, welcome back. The intersection of mental health and hip-hop music. This is kind of an intriguing combo here. Mental Health Meets Hip-Hop is hosting its second annual event, and it is in honor of Mental Wellness Month. And joining us this morning here in studio, two very special individuals. Tatiana Lane, she is the founder of Mental Health Meets Hip Hop, and she uses hip hop and music as a tool for healing. Dr. Dorothy Jean Tillman is a mental wellness professional. She's involved with this event as well. Tatiana, I want to start with you. Tell us about this event. Is it a talent show of sorts?
So Mental Health Meets Hip Hop is a program, multi-layered. It's a conference, live panels, and then also we're going to provide resources.
Oh, cool. Okay, so this is happening at the main library, Harold Washington. Oh, Harold Washington Cultural Center, right?
Yes.
Okay, so tell us.
47th and King Drive.
47th and King Drive. Tatiana, before we talk to Dr. Tillman here, tell us what we can expect in terms of the run of show and why people should attend.
So you can expect live panels from mental health professionals and also artists. You can expect free screenings from Blue Cross Blue Shield and Aetna. And then we're also going to provide other resources from different vendors, psychologists, mental health professionals, wellness coaches, spiritual advocates. So it's a group, we're all merging mental health and hip hop together because we know sometimes that mental health programs can struggle with cultural awareness and hip hop needs healing.
Dorothy Tillman, tell us about your involvement in this effort, this initiative.
Yes, so my involvement in this event, well, of course, my family runs the Harold Washington Cultural Center, and I, as a mental wellness professional in integrated behavioral health, find mental wellness so important. I think in the current climate that we're in, a lot of people feel a stigmatization around their mental health and their issues, and I think that people in hip-hop see that same issue. Oftentimes, people belittling their emotional problems and the way in which they choose to communicate them. And I think that that's a big community issue, even for people who maybe don't participate in hip-hop or listen to that often. I think that it's important to remember that our personal mental health is our community's mental health, and that's our wellness that echoes out. And it's important. It's for those people who have said, I'm fine, when they're not really fine.
Yeah, and our communities are a sum of all our individual parts. Tatiana, will you talk about why hip-hop is a good kind of on-ramp to talk about this issue and discuss this issue?
So hip-hop is one of the most culturally used mediums throughout the world. It brings people together, it's inclusive, and then it's where identity is found, resilience, and trauma is found. So instead of asking people to come to us, we go to where the healing needs to be.
Dorothy, what message would you have to our viewers this morning about how individuals can improve mental health in their own communities?
I think the message I would have is, to take the time and speak about it out loud. Things don't just go away because they're uncomfortable to talk about out loud, and emotions don't heal themselves by not being touched on. They get louder and they get harder for us to deal with. And so I think it's important, if this is an accessible space for you, to meet us there. We're trying to meet you in your community, halfway there, meet us in the middle, and come get a screening, maybe come just listen in with somebody that you already feel close to, who's already a trusted person for you, just to see what it's like in this world that you're already comfortable in. This is already your community. There's going to be snacks in our open non-alcoholic bar and vendors, of course, like she said. And so it's a fun, enjoyable event, and we're making mental health, something that we're talking about without being something that has to be so heavy.
Very well stated. Tatiana, what do people need to know in terms of details if they want to get tickets, if they want to attend? Is there any costs involved, and how do they make it happen?
So we're going to open our doors free to the youth because we're all about youth. We're here for healing. So you can also go on www.mentalhealthmeetshiphop.com and purchase your ticket. You can also find it on Eventbrite and Posh.com as well for the adults.
Okay, for the adults. And again, this is happening Saturday the 31st?
Yes. Saturday the 31st at the Harold Washington Cultural Center, 4701 South King Drive, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Please get there on time.
Thank you both so much. Good luck. I hope it's a huge success. Keep us posted on how it goes.
Thank you for having us.
All right, thank you both. All right, it's 8:49, 11 minutes till 9 o'clock on a sunny but frigid Monday morning. We will be back with more Good Day right after this.
This program.
All right, welcome back. It's 8:52. There's a view of Willis Tower. It is another cold one, and the cold ain't going anywhere anytime soon. All right, things got wild at Detroit's airport.
Crazy. Gabrielle is here with more about an incident that had people running. It was so scary.
Well, and guys, I had to do a double take because it looked like one of those AI pictures or videos. I couldn't differentiate if it was real or not. But yes, it was a very chaotic scene on Friday night when a car came crashing into the airport. It went through the concourse and into the Delta counter. People obviously were running for their lives to avoid the car and flying glass, but no one, thankfully, amazingly, was seriously hurt. Police say the driver was having a mental episode. Actor Corey Blevins happened to be in the airport. He gave a vivid description of what happened.
I looked up and I think everybody was stunned, even the TSA line and the people. Nobody got hit directly that I saw. Luckily, there was nobody in line. The airport was kind of quiet. And he went right through the queues, right up into the check-in. The door flung open on the car, and he immediately stood up and had his hands in the air, and he was screaming, "My name is Brian something, my name is Brian something. They're trying to kill me." Everybody was in shock. You know, they didn't know what to do. It wasn't until the DTW police got there and they got on him.
That is terrifying. It's not clear whether the driver will face charges. The new Wegovy pill is a real hot seller. We had some inkling on this. It has sold more than 18,000 prescriptions in its first week on the market. More than 3,000 prescriptions were tracked in its first 4 days alone. And investors are closely watching rival Eli Lilly as the FDA is expected to make a decision on its weight loss pill by April. Costco is facing a class action lawsuit over its popular rotisserie chicken. 2 people in Southern California say Costco claims its chickens don't have preservatives, but they say the ingredients list additives like sodium phosphate. They want others to join the suit because they say Costco has cheated people with false advertising. Costco hasn't commented. Anthony.
All right, Gabby, thank you very much. If you're expecting something important in the mail, you might need to be patient. Might be there a little late. The U.S. Postal Service says the weather could cause delays for processing and delivering mail. The Postal Service says it will continually monitor weather developments and adjust operations, try to minimize the impact of this. Post Office says you can also check its website to see how things are going.
Just in case you need the reminder, shoveling snow, typically one of the most dangerous parts of winter, if you can believe it. I would think it would be driving, but the Mayo Clinic says shoveling snow puts a big strain on your heart, and the cold air increases your blood pressure and reduces airflow. It says if you're 45 or older, don't overdo it. Instead, you should shovel the snow in smaller amounts so you don't get hurt.
Take it easy. That's what I have to say. No weekend warriors out there, trying to just, be overdo it is what I would say. Use common sense. Shovel along as you need to. You develop any discomfort, take a rest, take a break.
I think last time I read this story, I said if you're over 45, don't do it. But what I meant was overdo it. The majority of snow shoveling injuries. Yeah, don't overdo it. You got to still do it. Majority of injuries are back strains and fractures. If you do feel short of breath, please stop shoveling and get inside. Take a little break.
I'm kind of disheartened you had to make that correction because I was going to use that as an excuse to Maggie. Like, hey, hold on, I'm over 45.
Yeah,
sorry.
That's what you get when you marry a younger woman
guy.
Or marry an old guy. Looks like the coyote who swam to Alcatraz is doing just fine. Someone saw it on Saturday morning. Last week, there was video of the coyote making its way across the bay to the island. Back then, it wasn't looking good for that guy, but it looks a lot better now. Looks like the coyote has been snacking on birds since what's left of them has been found. The coyote is thought to have come from San Francisco.
All right. Escape back to Alcatraz. Yeah.
Yes, and it sounds so unbelievable to be true, but here we go. A British early learning organization found 1/3 of children who started year 1 of school last year were trying to swipe or tap on real books to turn the page. Was likely they were changing pages on a tablet instead. Teachers say all that screen time is the main reason kids are not ready for school.
Sign of the times right there. Sorry, I have to chuckle. I've seen my son try to tap on the TV. It's not a touchscreen, buddy. Not a touchscreen.
Poor thing.
All right. It's 8:57. We have another hour of Good Day Chicago. starting at 9 o'clock. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Fox 32.